I am going to share my personal contributions to the project, and I was in charge of manufacturing the links used to make the mechanism that you see here. Um, I did this with the help of Zach, which is my TA, and he helped me use the laser cut machine in 106 lab. I also help with the thought process for assembling this assembly to the structure, and figure out the code that we needed to create in order to interface linear actuator, H-bridge, drive, and Arduino board. In addition, we introduced 4 sensitive sensors and limit switches, but this part was very straightforward since we have used them in previous labs. In the end, we all worked together for the assembly of all the parts and thinking of ways and places to locate linear actuator and switches. And for the part of testing, I helped figure out to take a delay that was making the linear actuator work when it was supposed to have reached a limit. And this action was introducing a stress and movement when it wasn't needed. So key factors I take from this experience is have a good communication with teammates, always follow tasks according to schedule. Debugging can be tedious, but it helps you learn a lot and what things can go wrong when doing circuitry. And sometimes it's just little things as having a jump wire with 0 resistance. The last is just the code can be simple if you know what you're doing. We modified the code many times and we ended up having a simpler version of it.
So on this project, I helped integrate the force sensors with the Arduino by constructing a breadboard and eventually soldering it to ensure that it would be reliable when we combine all the systems. Using some of the lessons learned from lab, I did the wiring for our system, and I'm mostly proud of my contributions with the 154 side of the project, where I helped guide the team to ensure we don't fall behind and this project is taken care of on time. The main thing I took away from this mechatronics project is that certain electronic components aren't as reliable, and that you should really order more than just what you need.
For my individual contribution to the project, I did a lot of the coding. So I connected the force sensor and the limit switch and the linear actuator, all controlled by the H-bridge. And I used a lot of if-else statements to be able to control all of them, to make sure that if this button is pressed, that the linear actuator would move. The same with this button is pressed, that the linear actuator would move backwards. What I learned from this project is basically I would be willing to ask a lot of my friends for help. I asked my TA to be able to help me figure out what kind of breadboard this is, and also my friends on how to get the wires, the battery, and some of my friends on how to actually set up the limit switch. In addition to that, I also learned that in order to do this project, we have to take small steps one at a time. We first started with the force sensors and doing the coding for that. After the coding for that was done, we added the limit switches, and we found out some problems with the limit switches was affecting our program, so we had to take a step back and make sure we understood what was going on with the program.